Greetings and salutations. This is the voice of Loquacious of Hearth, bringing you his afterthoughts on My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, Season 6, Episode 8, titled A Hearth-Swarming Tale. I heartily suggest you find and watch the episode itself, sans commentary, before proceeding with either this Afterthoughts review or viewing my full reaction, which is hosted at the link in the description. Be warned, this Afterthoughts review will contain spoilers for the episode. With that out of the way, on to the review. First, I quite enjoyed this winter holiday-themed offering. Indeed, I find this episode even more enjoyable upon rewatching it. I suspect it will become a standard bit of my holiday entertainment for many winters to come. Utilizing the story within a story trope, the episode begins with Starlight Glimmer being generally unenthused about the upcoming Hearth-Swarming holiday, telling Twilight that she may just pass on the whole thing altogether. Starlight hasn't got any particularly active dislike of the season, she just sees it as silly, an excuse for parties, presents, and candy that is largely absent any real meaning. In short, without a personal connection to the holiday, Starlight would just as soon bow out and allow others to celebrate in peace. But Twilight feels that being involved and invested in this communal holiday is an important thing for friendship, and offers to tell Starlight a favorite Hearth-Swarming tale. This frames the remainder of the episode, Twilight narrating the story of Snowfall Frost's attempt to undo the holiday. The tale Twilight tells is quite familiar. It is an adaptation of Dickens' A Christmas Carol, mixed with a goodly dose of Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. In the retelling, we see Starlight casting the role of Snowfall Frost, the Scrooge-Grinch hybrid antagonist/protagonist role. She declares the holiday is just a menace to those who wish to get work done. Ponies would be better off without it. Her assistant Snow Dash, played by Rainbow Dash, points out that Snowfall is rather missing the point prior to dashing off to a party. Snowfall's distaste for Hearth-Swarming runs so deep and bitter that she decides to undertake a spell to erase the holiday entirely, stealing away Hearth-Swarming from all ponies for all time. At this point in the retelling, Starlight interrupts Twilight's narration to comment on the extreme overreaction of Snowfall's actions, only to be called out by Spike for Starlight's own, quite similar overreaction to a traumatic event. Twilight's smoothing over of the issue with her "every pony has their reasons for doing things" speech was quite nice and appropriate, I felt. As the action returns to the story being told, we meet with the spirit of Hearth-Swarming's past, who arrives prior to Snowfall's casting of the spell. Applejack, in the role of this spirit, informs Snowfall that this mystic undertaking she has begun has attracted considerable attention from the powers that be. Several of them intend to drop by to make their opinions known. But first, a trip to Hearth-Swarming's past to learn more about Snowfall herself. The resulting musical abduction leads to the spirit of Hearth-Swarming past and the now equally spectral Snowfall, observing Philly Snowfall's interaction with a trusted and admired teacher, the oh-so-Snape-like Professor Flintheart. Flintheart dismisses the holiday as inconsequential and the pursuit of fun as a distraction from study. Taking these rather hurtfully offered lessons to a childish extreme, Snowfall's future course is shaped by this event, and there is a painful dislike of the holiday as a whole, which settles into her mind as a result. Then a return to the present, and a second spirit, Pinkie Pie, cast as the spirit of Hearth-Swarming presence. That's presence as in gift, rather than present as in time. After a rousing look at the current celebrations underway in the Victorian-era Canterlot, Snowfall is left with the knowledge that she could be included in the joy and happiness, but that she has chosen to exclude herself. There remains the promise of good times if only Snowfall chooses to join in, truly a come friend and know me better moment. The spirit of presence vanishes away, lamenting that she is to be the last and there will be no more celebrations, only to be followed by the most dreadful and dark of the three spirits, the spirit of Hearth-Swarming future, played to chilling perfection by Luna. The revelations from this spirit are sufficient to throw Snowfall into a fit of remorse. Snowfall's repentance echoes Scrooge's, "Are these the shadows of things that will be, or are they the shadows of things that may be only? Men's courses will foreshadow certain ends, to which, if persevered in, they must lead. But if the courses be departed from, the ends will change. Say it is thus with what you show me." Awakening from the holiday vision and return to her own home, Snowfall discovers that there is still time to alter her path, and she does so. She is not the pony she would have been were it not for the intervention of the spirits. Cue a reconciliation and a party, and the end of the tale as told by Twilight. With the story finished, Twilight thanks Starlight for listening and very gently invites her to join them in the party, or not if Starlight chooses. Starlight, taking the lessons of the tale to heart, joins in the festivities, so as to enjoy the good times with friends. As I mentioned, this episode is clearly an adaptation of some true classics of holiday stories. What is impressive to me is how well they adapted them. The stories, as told, fit Equestria exceptionally well, and the animation is quite beautiful. There are cameos of plenty of fun background ponies, Derpy as an adorable tree topper, Octavia playing fiddle while Vinyl works a hand-cranked gramophone, a couple of glimpses of Sherlock Holmes and Watson, Rarity's parents, and even Rainbow Dash's father makes an appearance. And I have nothing but praise for the music, for this holiday special is a musical, brilliantly scored, brilliantly sung, and perfect for this telling of a cozily familiar, hearth-warming tale. Finally, I find the story of Snowfalls parallels Starlight's own story, and that works for me on a couple of levels. On the one hand, it helps establish why Starlight might well find herself open to the possibility of forming a personal connection to hearthwarming, because she can relate to the central character of the tale Twilight told. This episode is Twilight doing a remarkably good job of teaching her pupil about friendship, in direct contrast to some of the less successful teaching attempts Twilight has undertaken in the past. On the other hand, it helps provide some insights into Starlight's own past and motivations, helping to flesh out the emotional backstory of Starlight's character prior to Twilight's intervention in her life. Finally, it helps reinforce some of the main themes of Starlight's own character progression, trauma and a fall into villainy, followed by repentance, healing, and a return to heroism. Hearthwarming tale, on its own, is good. As it helps develop a better understanding of Starlight Glimmer, it is even better. Kudos to all involved in this delightful tale. If you wish to see my full reaction to My Little Pony Friendship is Magic Season 6, Episode 8, titled A Hearthwarming Tale, the link, as I mentioned earlier, is in the description. Feel free to leave any comments or likes for that reaction here on this Afterthoughts review. And until next time, as always, kindly remember, y'all are awesome. Stay awesome.